Hello, I am Reverend Irene Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to Generationally Speaking. Here at the table, we come and we discuss life issues, no matter what they might be. As we sit at the table with each generation, we all learn, we all grow, we all are inspired. Generationally Speaking.
Welcome to the J Ford Podcast Show. Today, we are live still from the underground, but we are not with guests. It's just you and I today. And we're going to talk about a couple of things that I wanted to get off and talk to you guys about. And first thing I want to say is how are you all doing? We want to first thank all you guys for watching, subscribing, listening, whether it's the morning, the afternoon, the evening. Thank you all for participating with the show. We appreciate all the love, the comments, the likes, the new subscriptions. Thank you all for joining us on this journey as we go forth to show that we are about sports in this area, and we know our sports in this area. And in this realm, we are highly sufficient in sports knowledge. So whoever we have, we really do appreciate what they bring as far as knowledge to the sports game. Please continue, like, subscribe, checking us out every chance you get. We're on YouTube. We'll be on Facebook sometime soon. We're going to try to hit every platform as much as possible. We're going to be giving you guys 2 shows every month coming up in August. Football season's coming, and we want to show you guys that we want to take you all along for this journey and let you all see what it feels like to be a part of the football season with fans that are kind of crazy, if you ask me, but I like to have them around. I like to have them as friends, and I like to have them on the show. So please continue to watch, continue to show your love, continue to comment, with any suggestions you think we can do to get better. We appreciate all of it. And as we continue to go forward, I wanted to ask you all if you all have been checking out what's going on in the NFLPA. You probably haven't. And you probably don't know about unions and why they're important to professional sports. And just to make a long story short, your union is the only thing that protects you from collusion against the owners, against management. And it's kind of hard to protect you against management and owners when the leaders of your union are either cutting side deals with management or they're completely inept. And if either or is true, if your union rep is completely inept or your union rep is taking a side gig or taking a gig that has side connections to the management team, then you're not going to be in a position of strength when it comes to the CBA bargaining that you're going to have to get through when it's time to negotiate a new CBA. And the reason why CBAs are important because all the rules are set there. You want a franchise tag, you want to get rid of the franchise tag, whatever, you have to put that in the CBA. You want to have to pay rookie players a certain stagnant wage when they come out, that also has to be in the CBA. When players act up and you want to fine them, all that information is in the CBA. If you want to act against one of your employees as an owner, you have to stick to the rules of the CBA. You cannot outbend the rules, and you can't outstretch your rules or anything that you might do that goes against the CBA, because then you can be negligent and you can be lawsuits and all that good stuff. But the CBA, as I say, is very important. It's a very important thing. And so as we look forward to what's going on in the NFLPA, there are a couple of characters we need to look at when we're talking about this. And the first one is Lloyd Howe Jr. was the Players Union chief, executive director of the Players Union. Now, he abruptly resigned recently. If you didn't know, let's go into why he abruptly resigned. Mr. Lloyd abruptly resigned because Mr. Lloyd had a strip club problem. Now, there's no problem with going to a adult entertainment facility using your own funds that you properly earn to do what you want to do. That's on you. That's your business. You're an adult. But what Lloyd was doing was taking the funds of the players union that they were supposed to be putting on the side just for rainy days for the players, and he was spending their money going to the strip club, buying ride services, and not really using the money accordingly to where it was supposed to be used for. And so how did Mr. Lloyd get caught? Well, you had a couple of journalists doing some behind the scenes research, and they end up talking to one of the drivers that Mr. Lloyd was being picked up by. And the driver had told these reporters that they had picked up Mr. Lloyd, and for 7 hours, they had dropped him off at a strip club, and they had waited there until he got finished. Now, I've been to a adult entertainment before. I've never spent 8 hours at adult entertainment. I wouldn't even know how anyone does that. 8 hours? You spent a day at an adult entertainment spot using the players union money to do whatever you were doing in this club. And it came down and it got out. And that's not even the worst thing. That's not the worst thing. I tend your eyes now to a Mr. guy named J.C. Treader. J.C. Treader was an exec at the Players Union, at the Players Association. And he was, I believe, a former player. And the deals that a certain players that were supposed to get, and let's put one as Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was supposed to take a Deshaun Watson type of deal, meaning fully guaranteed money at the highest of guaranteed money that you could get. Russell Wilson ended up not doing that. And in the process of not doing that, it really angered J.C. Treader to a point where he started trashing Russell Wilson to anyone he can hear. And I think that's the problem with the NFLPA. There's no leadership. When they had leadership, you're talking about all the way back to Gene Upshaw. Gene Upshaw has passed away for a minute. Gene Upshaw was the best NFLPA union director that they had, because he cared about the players. He cared about what they needed. He cared about the things that they needed. And the players, NFLPA, became weaker when they got DeMaurice Smith. Once they got DeMaurice Smith, that was the end of their power to negotiate against the owners, because the owners looked at DeMaurice Smith as a rollover. They felt that they rolled him over in the past CBA agreements, that he was never going to be someone who could actually bring power to light. And that's the problem with the NFLPA. They don't have anybody who's willing to call the owners out for what they need to be called out for. The owners are colluding. We saw them collude first against Colin Kaepernick. That was their first collusion. Then they started to collude against the NFL contracts, which, Sean Herbert. Let me look at the LA Chargers quarterback. And these guys had the nerve to collude against Justin Herbert. The owners of the Chargers were speaking to other owners, telling them not to go overboard with any QB contracts because they didn't want to pay Justin Herbert but so much money. That's collusion. That's collusion. The NFL owners collude. Newsflash, everyone, just in case you don't know this, billionaires collude. They collude all the time. I've been saying this since I was young to a lot of people, and they probably be like, yeah, this is not the first time he said something like this. All these billionaires in these different industries, they collude to save money or to make money. That's why they collude. It's either you're trying to save money or you're trying to make money. That's it. Because billionaires don't want to take risk. Don't let them fool you. Billionaires don't like risk. Poor people like me like risk because we have no choice but to take risks, because the only way you want to get to where you want to go in is to take a risk. But billionaires don't like to take risks. Once they get to that billionaire status, they try to stay risk. Risks are relevant. Stay away from the risks. No risk for me. But that's what's going on. And it's so fascinating to see the NFLPA now at a position where now they have to make changes. Big time changes. J.C. Treader was told to resign. Lloyd Howell Jr., they say he resigned. I believe he was fired. Take it for what you want to take it for. But he's gone. That means there needs to be some serious look around at the NFL players. Who do you want to lead you in the next CBA negotiation? You can't cry about franchise tags and being punished by the owners or not being paid right the way you feel or when you want to get paid if you're not willing to fight when it's time to fight during the CBA time. You guys fold it all the time, and then you're mad when you don't get what you want. And the owners, they have the ultimate strategy, unfortunately, against you. The owners know there's only 32 of us. All we have to do is get 32 people in line. You know what the players union has to do? There are 22 players just on the field at one time. That's not even the whole roster. There are 53-man rosters that have to make the roster. And there are 32 teams. Do the math. 53 times 32. Do the math. This is the problem with being a union leader. Is how do you bring in a bunch of people to be all on the same page against 32 billionaires? Newsflash, they got the home field advantage. You don't. They got the home field advantage. The billionaires know there's only 32 of us and there's over 1,000 of them. And they've all got to get paid, essentially. Think about it. In the players union, you have your top tier owners, top tier earners, should I say. You have your mid-level earners, and then you got the guys that are just trying to make it, trying to get in. There's no such thing as that in owners. There's no top tier owner, worst owner, mid-level owner. No, they're all billionaires. All of them, billionaires. There are levels to the NFL players. And a lot of fans want to believe that, all of them are making millions. They're all not making millions. Newsflash. Some of them make hundreds of thousands, and that ain't even enough. There's a certain lifestyle that you have to be willing to take care of your body with that is very expensive. Bodies don't take care of themselves. Football, you get hurt. Another thing the owners use against the players. They know you are a demolition car. If you all have ever been to a demolition derby, I went to one back in the day. Guess what? It's very hard to keep a car clean after you ran it through a demolition derby. And that's what football season is. It's a demolition derby. And the owners, their number one little stand on is, people get hurt. Well, yeah, you signed up to own a team that plays in the demolition derby. Good luck trying to keep a car fresh when you got to run it through a demolition derby for 17 weeks of one season. Good luck. But that's what's going on. And the players have to get on an understanding where they have to be willing to sacrifice, unfortunately. And it's sad because, like I said, there are mid-level, there are low-level, and there are high-level paid players. And the ones that are going to bear the brunt the most are going to be the low-level players if they have a walkout, or if they have a strike, or if they can't come up to an agreement for the next CBA. It's always the players that are on the mid-level to the lower-level earners that have to bear the brunt of a walkout. But I believe that the NFLPA has a card under their sleeve that they should start to utilize, which is the NIL deal in college. If you start teaching some of these kids in college how to maneuver their money, no matter what, when it comes to a player or a work stoppage that might have to take place, they'll be ready. You'll have people with money on the side ready for a work stoppage. But if the NFL players aren't going to put the owners in a position where there's going to be a work stoppage, where they can affect their billions that they intake every year from the NFL, then you're not going to get rid of the franchise tag. You're not going to get rid of these things that you want to get rid of. How much does it mean to you to get rid of it? If you don't want to be franchise tag no more, be prepared for a work stoppage. If you're not prepared for a work stoppage, you want to be franchise tag. Unfortunately, and I don't even like the franchise tag. It's a cop-out to me. But this is why you have these negotiations for CBAs, so you can put these stuff in these contracts to give your side more ability than the next side. That was the whole point of the owners fighting for the franchise tag. If you want the owners not to put 2 extra games, you're gonna have to fight for that. You're telling owners, hey, we don't want 2 extra games, even though it means more money in your pockets. And yes, it does, in a sense, mean more money in the player's pocket, but never more than the owners, because the owners aren't risking more than the players. The players always risk more. Their bodies are the one getting beat up. The owners are sitting in the skybox, sitting in their suite. So when you see these things come up in the media about the NFL players mad about this, the NFL players angry at ownership about that, it all comes down to, is this situation one of those situations where they're willing to step when it's time to step, when it's CBA time? Because when the CBA is signed, you are signed for 5 years. You are in a locked in contract that you said was good enough for the next 5-6 years. So if coming up on the next CBA agreement, you are angry about whatever things that you're angry about as far as the players union, the players is concerned, then you need to look deep inside of you need to tell everyone to look deep inside themselves and really figure out how much change do you really want. Because if you really want change, then you got to be willing to step when it's time to step, when it's CBA time. Because if you're not willing to step and you're going to sign, you're going to get the same thing over and over and over again. Okay? And I think that leads us to the 49ers of this year. What do I think about my Niners? Well, I've been thinking about this a long time when I was thinking about this show and how would I describe this year. And I'm going to put it on Brock Purdy, obviously, but I'm going to say something about Brock, and I hope that it actually happens. If Brock Purdy can have 5 fourth quarter comebacks this season, I believe he'll go to the playoffs this year and make noise. But I believe that our season this year, to me, lies on if Brock Purdy can have a fourth quarter comeback. And it doesn't have to be a large fourth quarter deficit, 3, 7, 14, 10, something like that. Something 6. Something in the realm that's not over the top of a fourth quarter comeback. I believe that if Brock Purdy can start stringing together fourth quarter comebacks, he'll give himself confidence going forward when he gets into bigger games and he starts it all slow, that maybe he can turn it around late in the game, because he can go back to and reference this game X, this game Y, this game Z. I came back in the third, fourth quarter and we were down 7, 14, 3, whatever it was. We came back and we won the game. And I do believe that is going to be essential for Brock Purdy as we move forward in his career. I believe the defense is going to be young, but I believe Robert Saleh will be able to go through their youth bumps or their mistakes as they grow and they get better. I believe he will be a perfect person to guide them through that as a coach. So I do believe the defense, as far as the run is concerned, will be better. The question is, will our pass defense be either what it was this last year or better? And honestly, I don't know. We having safety issues right now. I wanted my team to address the safety during the draft this past year. We really didn't. We got a free safety later on in the 4th round, but it's really really, really a lot right now for me to say that someone like Marquez Sagal is going to come in out of the fifth round and really do a lot of damage. You know what I mean? I just don't think I want to put a lot of stock into a fifth round safety right now. Do I think our defensive line will be better? Yes, I do think Michael Williams will be a good run stuffer. I believe Alfred Collins will be a good run stuffer, and Alfred Collins to me might be the best pass interior rusher that we have in the interior. I think Michael Williams will definitely try to fight for that number one spot in the interior. I think Josh Huff from the side, from the left side, Nick Bosa from the right side. I think that is good pass rushers. So it's going to be one of those things where if the defense can really, really, really establish themselves and keep a lead, I will say they will be okay. But it's going to be really up to Brock Purdy and his ability to come back in the fourth quarter that will really determine the fate of this 2025 49er team. Hopefully he can do it. I believe he can do it. I do believe in a couple of rookies that will step up for Brock. Jordan James, I just talked about a fifth round pick, but I believe because we're not asking Jordan James to start, he'll be coming in to relieve Isaac Guerrero and Christian McCaffrey. I believe a fifth round player can be asked to dispel the first and second running back in the depth chart and be the third running back. And I do think that's a good position for him to actually show his talent and where he can contribute to the team. Also, I would love to see where Jordan Watkins fits in. He was a fourth round pick for us. Jordan Watkins is from Ole Miss, wide receiver. I believe that he's going to have to try to, between the slot and his slot might be the best bet. I don't know if he'll be able to get into the depth chart of the first and second receiver. Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall. You have the other guy I forgot that they brung in. So those, it's going to be hard to crack the first two. And then you still got Brandon Ayuk that's going to be coming back from that major injury. So to me, it's going to be very hard to ask a fourth round wide receiver to come crack the first and second wide receiver. But I want to see what he can do on the slot. I think the slot will be where Jordan Watkins makes his bread and butter. I do believe that he will come in and contribute as a slot receiver. We won't be asking him to do too much, which is pretty good. And I think that's where he will thrive at, and he will be able to show what he's worth. Outside of that, Nick Martin and Upton Stout, they were our third round. Nick Martin's a linebacker. Upton Stout is a corner. I think Upton Stout will be able to contribute as a slot corner. He might be asked to blitz a lot. I don't know if they're going to ask Upton to cover. I've been hearing that he's been doing a good job so far in training camp. So we'll see if they ask him to do a lot of coverage in the slot or if they blitz him a lot. Nick Martin, man, he has big shoes to fill. He's got to fill Dre Greenlaw's shoes, and that's going to be a lot to ask for anybody. Do I think he can do it? I do think Nick Martin can do it. I believe Nick Martin is one of those guys that's going to come on late in the season, let's say 10th game, and he'll start to show himself and maybe hopefully stay on the field as much as possible. I don't want to see any of these young kids get injured. Hopefully, if Nick Martin can do that, we will have someone that's right by Fred Warner to come and help the linebackers with the run and with the pass. So hopefully Nick Martin can step in. I'm not going to put too much stress on him his first year to step in for Dre Greenlaw, but hopefully he can. The last thing outside of the 49ers is the movies. I don't know if you guys have seen any new movies. I saw the new Superman movie. It was a very good movie. It's probably the best Superman. I'm not trying to say, if you're one of those Christopher Reeve guys, Superman 1, Superman 2. I am not saying anything bad against Christopher Reeves. I think Christopher Reeves will always have a spot in all of our hearts as Superman. But I do think David, this new guy, David Cornsweet, is more importantly because he's Clark Kent. And that's what makes him Superman. And I think one thing the Man of Steel didn't do right is Henry Cavill looks like Superman. When he puts the Superman cape on and the outfit, he looks like Superman. But when you take it off and you put the glasses on him, do you really see Clark Kent? Does Henry Cavill come off as Clark Kent? Let's have an honest conversation. I'm willing to admit Henry Cavill is a good-looking Superman. Are you willing to give to me that Henry Cavill was a bad Clark Kent? Like, if we can agree on that, then you can step forward out of the Snyderverse and into this universe of DC, which is growing. I want to see where they take this Superman. I'm very interested to see where they take this Superman. The characters all come together. The world is wonky. You have a giant Kanju just stomping around, but it makes sense in the realm of the story they tell, because the story is all about metahumans have already been around for more than 300 years. So when you see a man flying in the sky or you see a kaiju stomping around, it's nothing new. It's Tuesday for them. They have a man with a ring that glows green that can just think of something and it happens right then and there. And all the people with the Green Lantern, my God, can you people learn what Green Lantern's ability is? It's about him thinking. I've seen one short where Green Lantern was trying to fight Batman. This is how cool Batman is, man. In the middle of Green Lantern talking, Batman's talking a little bit of stuff to him, and Green Lantern's getting mad, talking back. Batman pickpockets his ring, and he goes from Green Lantern to back to the regular guy. And he gave it back. And Green Lantern's like, well, how'd you do that? You're not concentrating. You don't concentrate, I could take that ring off your hand. And now you're just a regular person. Batman's cool. So I want to see what they do with this universe. How do they introduce Batman in a world with Superman and Supergirl and Green Lantern, all these godlike heroes, Wonder Woman coming down the line. So I would love to see where Batman fits in this world and how does he adapt in a world where he is the underdog as a human being with no powers. Also, I saw the Fantastic Four. Oh, let me go back to Superman. Nicholas Hoult, Lex Luthor. That is Lex Luthor. That's Lex Luthor. That's Lex Luthor. I forgot my old the guy that played Lex Luthor back in the day. He was good. He ain't Nicholas Hoult. Like, Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor. That's Lex Luthor. That's everything. If you describe Lex Luthor, it would be everything Nick Hoult did in that movie. Do I recommend it? I do recommend you seeing Superman. Now to my next movie, Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four was... Let me tell you something about Fantastic Four. I was never a Fantastic Four person. I remember when Fantastic Four came out where Jessica Alba was Sue Storm and all that stuff, and Chris Evans was Johnny Storm. I remember watching those movies and just not liking them. And I remember I watched the second Fantastic Four, and that was the one with the Silver Surfer. And I only literally watched the movie for the Silver Surfer. They did Galactus terrible. I don't know why they made Galactus a cloud. I was just not smart at all, but I just never liked those Fantastic Four movies. They were, but this Fantastic Four movie, this one made me a fan. Pedro Pascal, the young lady who played Sue Storm, let me get her name, Vanessa Kirby, she did very good. Vanessa Kirby played probably the best Sue Storm out of everyone. She's Sue Storm. She played it so good that I could believe that that's her character from now on going forward. Pedro Pascal, Josh Quinn did a good Human Torch. And honestly, let me see, where was my guy? Oh, Abron Moss Baccarat, Mr. Ben Grimm. He was very good too. Ben Grimm was a real good character, and the effects of Ben were very good as rocks. Every time he sat down, you hear the rocks. If he makes a move, like just a normal move, you'll hear rocks when he moves. It's a very thought out sound effect and thought out sound effects, should I say, when they did Ben Grimm, the Thing, or whatever. Is it Thing? I forgot what they call him. But yeah. And the Silver Surfer, man. Wesley, should I be a spoiler? Wesley, are you going to see? Don't be a spoiler. God dang. All right. Let me just say, there is a scene. I'm trying to not spoil as much as possible. There is a scene in the movie where you can really see how cool the Silver Surfer is, and it's in space. And I'm gonna leave it like that. So both of these superhero movies, to me, have re-generated the genre for my liking. I am so interested in what they're going to do with Doom. Post-credit scenes. Post-credit for Superman was Supergirl flying in. Now, if you don't know Supergirl's story, because people always see Supergirl and think like she's like Clark's little sister or something like that. She's not his little sister. She is another Kryptonian who actually got away. See, they don't really explain the Kryptonian genre or the Kryptonian origin pretty good. What they tell you is, well, Krypton planet explodes, baby gets sent to land, and that was it. Superman's here. That's not what all happened to Krypton. So Krypton, some of the people were able to get away from the planet before it went up, and obviously others didn't. There was some that got away, created this land on, like, just say a big meteorite. All right, it's this big meteorite. They created this land and they kind of restarted, and that's where Supergirl and her parents were. Well, fate has it that their world now, that new world, ends up getting hit with a meteor shower, or pretty much a brand new meteor shower comes to destroy this world. And so they end up sending her in the same kind of spaceship they sent Clark to Earth, but with her spaceship, it hit something, and instead of going directly to Earth, it ended up spinning around like another kind of sun. And since she spent around that sun, she didn't grow any. So Clark and her got sent the same time. Her spaceship got hit. Technically, she's probably the same age as him or older, but since her spaceship got hit and she was sitting around a red sun and she wasn't able to go to Earth to get to the yellow sun, she kind of never aged. And when she finally did, the spaceship did reset itself and she went to Earth, she showed herself to be younger than Clark, and younger than Kal-El. She wasn't younger than Kal-El. He's actually younger than her. So that's the post-credit scene for Superman. Supergirl, I guess, will be the next superhero genre for DC films. Outside of the what's my John Cena? John Cena has a great character, Peacemaker. Peacemaker is going to be next after the Superman movie, and then it'll go into, I believe, Supergirl. For Fantastic Four, I mean, if you don't know, do you know, Wesley, that Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doom? Did you hear about that? Robert Downey's playing Doom. He's playing Iron Man, and he's playing Dr. Doom now. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr., if you're just hearing for the first time, Robert Downey Jr. played Iron Man throughout the Iron Man saga, and he will be playing Dr. Doom. And from what I'm hearing is the directors of the Endgame Infinity Saga are saying that him playing Doom is set off those events from the Endgame Infinity War. Now, I have a theory. So come in. Everybody just come in. Here's my theory. You all remember the battle at the end of Endgame when it was all the heroes versus Thanos, right? Everybody remembers that. We all jumped up when everyone came out of portal, like, kids for the first time, seeing something cool. Well, we all remember the events of what happened. Tony Stark takes those Infinity Stones He snaps, he kills himself, but he also gets rid of Thanos. But always remember, we're in a multiverse saga now. So let's play that back. But let's do a multiversal switch, which is, what if Pepper died in that battle? When another universe, call it 821, whatever you want to call it, what if that same battle happened, the same events happened, but Tony didn't die, Pepper died. And instead of getting rid of the stones, he decided to keep the stones because he thought he could bring Pepper back. But he was never able to bring Pepper back. So that would probably force his hand, get him to a point where he goes from lovable Tony Starks to Dr. Doom. And it is now retconned that Tony Starks was adopted by the Starks. So what if, and all this information, if you want to go back to Endgame, go back to Endgame. There's a scene in Endgame. Wesley, I don't know if you've seen Endgame and can remember it, but there's a scene in Endgame where Tony Starks is talking to his father in the military base, in an elevator. His father tells him, my wife's pregnant. Tony Stark's face does the math. And his face expression, you can tell the math ain't mathing. So what if Tony's father, Howard, and his wife had a child, the child passed away, some bad reason, and they adopted a little boy from Liberia. And what else do we know about Howard? Howard had the Tesseract. He had the Tesseract already. So what if he was fizzling around with it and, maybe, I don't know, injected his son with some of the Tesseract stuff and made him super smart? I don't know. I want to see where they go with this Liberia thing. I want to see where they go with this. How did Tony Stark, or how did this variant of Tony Stark become Dr. Doom? I want to see that backstory so bad. Outside of that, the post-credit scene for this Fantastic Four has Sue Storm reading a book to her son. Goes to go get another book. Out of nowhere, she comes back, sees a man with his mask off, and the little boy touching his face. Now, we don't see his face, and that's the Marvel. I think Marvel doesn't do anything for just no reason. They did that on purpose. I don't think that was Robert Downey Jr. I think that Doom in the Fantastic Four will be the new Doom when they reset the universe after this Secret Wars Doomsday saga ends. I believe once the universe is reset, you'll have the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Miles Morales, Peter Parker, all under the same umbrella now. Instead of Fox, Sony, Marvel, they'll all be under the continuity of one universe. That Doctor Doom, I think, was the one we saw. And that's why I believe they didn't show his face, because I think they're still trying to cast him. So the question is, when do we meet the Robert Downey Jr. Doom? And I just can't wait. I want to also throw in another little shot for a show that I watched, Ironheart. Very good show. And I'm going to tell you why Ironheart's a good show. Ever since Spider-Man Sam Raimi, when we saw Peter Parker coming in contact with every important villain that he would face, and as he saw the origins. Think about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. We met the Norman Osborn same time he did. We got to see Norman Osborn's change as Peter Parker would see it. Let's go to Spider-Man 2. Dr. Octavius was his professor. We got to see Dr. Octavius go from Dr. Octavius to Doc Ock. We were on the origin trail with Peter Parker. Well, that's how Ironheart is. We get to see her villains become her villains. That was cool. Like, that's not, and they did it in a show, and they did it in 6 shows, which is awesome. They brung magic in with science. You can't bring in Dr. Doom and have his powers so lit and not explain where this stuff comes from, because Dr. Doom is technically a scientist, but he's technically a magician. He's a master magician too. So he's like the best of both worlds. So you kind of got to explain how does magic work with science. And this is what Ironheart does. And I really do appreciate the writing in that show. Comic book fans, we eating, man. So continue to just look out for these shows. I would implore you, check out Ironheart. It's a family fit show. You can sit down with some loved ones, watch Ironheart. Check out Fantastic Four in the theater. Is a family orientated movie. It's really about family. It's a very good, very, very, very good movie. And check out Superman. Where would I rank them? I would rank them, if I had to, I would rank Fantastic Four like an 8.9. I would rate Superman like an 8.5, 8.6. And I would rate Ironheart about the same, at 8.5, 8.6. Real good show. So that is pretty much gonna be the crust for comic books coming up. So I want to thank all you guys once again, everybody who have maintained, continue to watch our show, continue to grow the show as we grow. Please like, subscribe. Just find the J4 podcast show on YouTube. Okay, find it, go to it, check us out. You can subscribe. Appreciate all you all for checking us out. You all have a great day, night, morning. See you again later.